Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I get this question in the comments a lot. People ask if they should get a REL or an SVS subwoofer. So I'm gonna kind of make this video to answer that question, and hopefully I can just like link people to this video when they ask this question in the future, because I can't help but feel like in the comments when I answer this question, people take it as if I'm saying one brand is better than the other, when that's not what I'm saying at all. They're actually for different people. And I'm gonna tell you what the difference is, okay? I'm gonna use some analogies and some comparisons, and we're gonna just like try to really keep it simple. But if on this side we have SVS and this side we have REL, we also have other brands that fit into these two categories. On the REL side, we also have brands like Rhythmic or Bowers & Wilkins. On the SVS camp, we also have brands like JL Audio and a few others. I don't really want to get into all the different brands, but there's really just two different philosophies when it comes to subwoofers, okay? Quick analogy. You're at a party, you see a girl, she's super good looking, sexy dress, she's a little bit loud, she's getting a lot of attention, there's guys around her, girls around her, they're talking, and you're just like, whoa, you are impressed. That is a SVS subwoofer. What I mean by that is what a SVS subwoofer is gonna do is impress the hell out of you in the first 5, 10, or 15 minutes. And that's not to say it's not gonna impress you for years to come if you own it. It probably will, don't get me wrong. It's a good subwoofer. What I mean is they have slam, they have authority, they have dynamics, they pressurize the hell out of your room, and you're just gonna be like, whoa, that's a subwoofer. Now, many of you have maybe had this experience as well. On the flip side, maybe a friend introduces you to a woman that initially you think is nothing special, but as you get to know this woman over time, she starts to become better looking and better looking and better looking. And after a few months, you think this woman that initially was just normal is like incredibly just beautiful. Maybe she doesn't wear the most makeup or dress like wildly provocative, but after getting to know her, you're like, wow, this woman is beautiful. That is going to be a subwoofer like REL or Rhythmic, sorry. And what I mean by that is what these brands go for is like maximum integration. What they're shooting for is the customer has an experience of like, it doesn't sound like there's a subwoofer in the system. That's what they're shooting for. You're going to get instead like a great articulation, really good bass detail. These other guys have bass detail too, don't get me wrong. It's not like JL Audio or SVS are completely monotone. By direct comparison though, brands like REL and Rhythmic have more detail, and brands like SVS and JL Audio have more slam and authority, right? So back to the REL and the Rhythmic, yeah, they're for the guy who's buying a subwoofer and wants to be like, I want to feel like I don't have a subwoofer. I want it to like disappear in the room. REL, Rhythmic, that's that category. On the other hand, and this is actually where most people are, most people when they buy a subwoofer, they actually want to notice it. They spent their hard-earned money on it, and when it kicks, when it slams, they want it to be noticeable. That's SVS, that's JL Audio. There's a reason SVS sells more subwoofers than any other company. It's because that's what most people want. So ask yourself which customer you are. And there's nothing wrong with one camp or the other. Over the years, I was originally in this camp where I didn't really care so much about like the bass detail and articulation, because you know these subwoofers over here, the JL Audios, the SVSs, they have articulation. You know what I mean? It's just by direct comparison. This camp with the maximum integration has a little bit more. But over here, I wanted that slam. I wanted that authority. I wanted that feeling of like I spent my money. That's my subwoofer kicking ass right now in that part of the song or movie. I wanted that experience. As time passed, and I shifted more towards being that guy that sits in the middle of a perfect triangle to listen to his music critically, I wanted more of that REL or Rhythmic sound where it's like detail is more the primary focus. They still have slam. They still pressurize the room, don't get me wrong. It's just they're shooting for maximum integration. And when you're shooting for that experience of like the subwoofer disappearing in the room, it's not going to have that crazy amount of like slam like a SVS will. It can't. That would contradict it integrating so well into the system. If we use a car analogy for an example, you can't have a 1,000 horsepower car that gets great gas mileage. The two things just don't go together. They're at odds with each other. So again, it's not about which is best. It's about what's best for you. Which customer are you? And I don't know why with subwoofers this is confusing for people, and people, you know, generally go more towards like, this is good, this is bad, right? Because if we use speakers as an example, some speakers are bright, some speakers are smooth, right? And people know generally some are bright, some are smooth, and people know which sound they like. And people who like smooth speakers, they don't think speakers that are bright are bad. They're just like, that's not for me. And when it comes to subwoofers, and the main difference being like one goes for maximum integration while the other one goes for like maximum slam and authority, people like in one camp think the other camp is like garbage, and like people in this camp think that camp is garbage, and it just doesn't make sense to me, and why we don't understand, like it's just a different taste, right? So I'll give you one last analogy here with cars, because you guys know I love cars. BMW versus Mercedes, one is not better than the other. I don't care what you think, they're just made for different people. I'm a BMW kind of customer, and I'll tell you why. When you drive a BMW, the steering is sharp, you feel connected to the road. The suspension is a little bit firm, and you can feel the road. And even the brake pedal is somewhat delicate and touchy to really feel like you're in control and engaged and a part of the driving experience. I love that. BMW is a driver's car. Mercedes, on the other hand, is totally different. The steering is very dull by direct comparison. The ride is a lot more comfortable. You're not really feeling much of the road, and the brake pedal is more forgiving. You're more disconnected from the driving experience. And for someone like me, I don't like that, right? But if someone is looking for like maximum comfort, they're gonna like a Mercedes more than a BMW. That doesn't make the BMW a bad car. But if someone is looking to be engaged in the driving experience and they hop into a Mercedes, they're not going to get that. They're going to be like, oh, this is too soft. The steering feels sloppy. It's not. It's not that it's sloppy. It's just not engaging, because it's for a different kind of customer. So ask yourself, which kind of customer are you? There's no right or wrong. There's just what you like. I don't think I can say anything else about this topic. I've surely pissed off some people. I don't really care. There's no right or wrong. This is a hobby. It's for fun, for God's sakes. And I swear, you people that are like extremists that believe there's like only one way, I hate you. You're taking the fun out of this for everyone. We all work very hard for our money and buy the component we think sounds good. And there are no rules to this thing, guys. I'm actually going to do a video in a little bit here, maybe in a couple of weeks, about like audiophile myths, where like I just like get this bullshit out of the way, these like false ideas some of you guys have that like it has to be this way. Like, guys, if you want to use a big badass ported subwoofer for critical listening, do it. Who cares? Do what you want. Have fun with the hobby. In no other hobby are people this overly critical and believe like it has to be a certain way. It's just not like that anywhere else. Like, I'm into cars, and like, sure, we like bust balls in the car community, but like at the end of the day, we respect every build. You know what I mean? I don't care if you have a Ford Mustang. I don't care if you have a Ferrari. I don't care if you have a Daihatsu Charade. And if you don't know what a Daihatsu Charade is, don't worry about it, okay? Anyways, I'm gonna shut the fuck up now, and until next time, later.